everybody, how's it going? I'm Joe and welcome back to the Homestead. Today we're going to be doing something really fun, and that's mushrooms, specifically shiitakes. If you're not familiar with this process, buckle in because this is going to be a really good one. We're going to be talking about spawn a little later on in this video, but before you order any, go check out the description right down there, and where we get our spawn, they were nice enough to give us a discount code for you guys. So before you order, type that in, get a little money off, support them, support us, it's all good. First thing you're going to need is logs. Jumping in with Mark here, this is the Anyone Can Farm experience. All right, so we're out here cutting mushroom logs. What are a few things we're going to look for?
Well, time of year is really important. So it's March, and these trees are dormant still. All right, maybe we might have had a little sap moving, but it's gotten cold again, so not so much. We're going to want to use maple. That's what we've had good luck with for shiitake logs. We can cut them into any length we want, but we choose to cut them into 4-foot lengths for our needs.
Gotcha.
So we want to get a log that's probably no more than about 8 inches across at the bottom, because a 4-footer would be pretty heavy. And we pick maples. We pick maples that are smaller and are not going to do anything. Some of them that are big, you know, we want to kind of thin out around them. So this is also a forestry management technique as well.
Sweet. Let's cut some logs.
Okay.
Cranky expert measure. So after you get your logs in, your first step is going to be drilling.
This is a bit that's specially made for doing this. It's got a collar on it that will keep you from going too deep. And it goes in really fast. It's pretty aggressive. We're going to put them about 6 inches apart. And then we're going to stagger them by 2 inches. Right, so I made a line at 6 inches, then I'm going to come over 2 and then stagger the holes. Roughly.
It's all rough.
It's a little off, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that we have a spore plug, you know, very frequently, so that the mycelium that's in the spore will run through the log completely. That's what we'd like to have happen. And the next step is inoculating the log. So this is the spawn that we got. Showed this before. The spores in here, and the spores are in sawdust. Right? You can see the mycelium there. Okay, and then we have this tool. It's got a plunger on it, spring loaded, so you can hit it like that, and when you do, it pushes the end out. So you get some spawn in there and it fills that hole in real good, and then we put it in a hole and then just go, that's it. So 2 shots in the spawn, 2 shots in the hole, and it fills the hole up perfectly. Right to the top.
And it leaves a little indent.
Yep, just a little indent. And it's all planned. That's supposed to be that way.
Don't forget, when you order this, coupon code down in the description, get some cash off.
This spore dust that we're putting in what we don't want to have happen is we don't want this to dry out. So what Frank's doing is putting paraffin over the holes, and what it does is it forces the moisture that's in there to go into the wood, not into the paraffin. So it forces the mycelium to run a certain way. We want it to run into the wood.
And keeps birds and whatever from pecking it out.
Yeah, the reason that you don't use beeswax is because birds will steal the wax.
Frankie, world-class dauber here. Daubing it up. And Frank, you are just getting just enough in these to seal it off.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. You can see he's just got enough that it's nice and sealed, but not too much. And that's also the reason for that dent with the inoculator. You can fill it with wax. Here we got our wax set up, and you could do something kind of, like a crock pot or something like that. But we just have a little sterno can going there, and that's keeping that warm for us. And this is something really nice when you have like multiple people doing it. So Jim's behind me right there. He's doing the drilling, Dad's doing the inoculating, and Frank's doing the daubing. So it's a nice like assembly line pace. If you're doing this by yourself, it can get a little arduous. So one thing that's common is forced fruiting. Do you guys do any of that?
We don't. What forced fruiting is let's say that you've got a whole bunch of shiitake logs and you've got a market that you have to meet at a certain time. You can take these logs and you can submerge them in a trough for 24 hours, and then they should fruit 24 hours after that. What we do is we just stack them up and forget about them. About every time it rains, we go out and get a pail full of mushrooms. So we don't push them, but then again, our logs are going to last a lot longer.
The coolest, in my mind, the coolest things about mushrooms is, like there's a bit of work up front to do this, and it's kind of a pain. But then, like the way we do it, you just walk away from it for the most part. You got a couple of things, you move some logs around, but then it's like passive income on the homestead.
Yeah.
You did it, and now it's working for you.
Yep.
All right, so we're out at the mushroom housing area. I don't know. Mushroom area. And there's some really cool stuff here, so walk us through.
All right, these logs are over 10 years old, and they're used up. They're very light, but we keep them here because they keep fruiting. So there's no sense in putting any effort into throwing them into the pigs or anything, because they keep fruiting. So they're 10 years old.
And when you're looking for spots here, what are we going to look for if we're putting logs on our property, our own mushroom area? What do we want to look for?
A place that's fairly close to the house. You want a place, or a place that you would walk by daily. That would be a good idea, because the mushrooms will come out, and if you don't get them in a day or two, they get tough. You want a place that's shady. It needs to be a moist environment. But you can always add water, But if it's too wet, like a swamp, that's not good, because then you would have, from what I've heard, you would have too much competition from other fungi. So in this area right here, it's shady, it's pine. I have water nearby if I need to water these logs down. I've never done that, honestly, in all the years I've been doing it. I've never watered them because I haven't really need to. We get enough rain to where once or twice a week you come out and you have mushrooms, and that's good enough. But if I was in a place where I needed to supply a market or something with mushrooms, then I probably would force fruit them, and it's nice to have a water supply nearby.
All right, there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed seeing how we do mushroom logs here on the homestead. If you have any questions, go ahead, drop them in the comments. We'll be answering everything down there. And again, 10% off down in the description. Thank you to Field & Forest for helping us out and helping you guys out. If you found today's information helpful, go ahead, give us a like. We put a lot of work into this, and we appreciate you hitting that like. Helps the algorithms and helps us reach new people. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.